is the WCW champion Sting versus Vader.
Yes,
now, this is good fun.
This is a lot of fun. And you can tell that it was a fantastic match from start to finish, one of my favourite ones I've seen Sting in. And whenever Sting is wrestling, the crowd are so fucking hot for them.
Yeah.
And even with the upsetting image of Harley Race with a lovely goatee beard, it's still really, really big potatoes for me. And by the end, you know, it's not spoiling anything when I say that Big Van Vader defeats Sting. Like, the crowd are, like, gut-punched.
Completely.
It's audibly.
Completely.
Out of them. It's incredible.
This is, the other thing is Vader was not a regular roster member of WCW.
Yeah.
This was seen as being... There's a funny decision they made where they just went, we'd quite like to, see WCW have a relationship with Japan. So let's bring a load of people over from Japan and just have them destroy everyone in WCW.
Pete here from WrestleMania. I've got together all my favourite wrestling clothes and I'm taking them to WrestleMania. You can check them out right now at patreon.com/WrestleMe.
I don't love you anymore.
You'll be back.
What you have here is the franchise player Sting, the only real hugely popular creation of WCW. They just struck lightning with him, and they could never quite replicate it. He's the only one as well who's remembered this is the Great American Bash. He comes out in the Stars and Stripes.
Yeah.
He's the only person sort of wearing something that isn't just black, and they mention, he's beaten them all convincingly. Ric Flair, Sid Vicious, Lex Luger. Little point there where all of those people are now in the WWF. So Sting is the one guy who they can go, look at the other people, well, our guy's beaten all of them. He's just amazing. But what they put him up against is they put him up against a monster. In comes Vader. He is stiff, and he just batters Sting. He batters him. His gimmick is that he's not really fake. He is serious. He is a monster, and he will steamroller everything in front of him. And that is how you get someone like Vader over. You just see him, he's a big guy, you might not know who he is. Well, by the end of this match, he will have destroyed your hero. He will be unstoppable. He will take the belt. And there's nothing anyone can do about it.
He's like a freight train. He's like the end-of-level boss. You're right, he's just steamrolling.
He's amazing. And there is, a sad thing that happened with Vader, which is when he went to the WWF, as he got a bit older, he became lazy, and his legacy was really harmed. When you see him in this match, it's hard to think that there is a better pro wrestling performer in the history of the world. It is just amazing.
Ferocious. I can see why he sort of made so much hair in Japan. He just absolutely did it.
Completely that. There are so many bits in this that I love where Jim Ross at one point says, a new move by the Stinger, that rolling karate kick. And it isn't at all. It is basically a forward roll panic kick where Sting is beginning to sort of go, I knew it was going to be tough and I knew it was going to be hard, but this man is not doing anything that I've done in my previous 10 years of career. He is just punching me on the head. There's a bit where Sting just starts kicking Vader in the back. It's just like, I've got to stop him. Oh my God. But what they have is they have Sting in a slight bit of overbooking. They have Sting knock himself out. He does a Stinger splash and he hits himself on the turnbuckle and he just hangs upside down and he gets power bombed and Vader is the champion. Even on the pin, Vader really scrunches Sting up into a fucking ball. He really sort of scrunchy, and he wins without any cheating whatsoever. He's got Harley Race in his corner who doesn't interfere. Slight odd choice with Harley Race. Harley Race is not that great on the mic. I mean, Vader wasn't either, but he never had to be. He just sort of went, I'm going to smash you up, and then he would. But I think they wanted to sort of go, there is a legitimacy to Vader, as in the old former world champion has gone, well, this guy is worth hanging around with. It's a demolition. I remember seeing this match when the video came out, and I could not believe it felt like it was a shoot. It felt like Vader had just gone, I'm going off page and I'm going to do all this. And it was just like... They bring out, at one point, Nikita Koloff comes out right at the end, and he's taken his boots off and he's just in flip-flops. Like he was backstage just chilling out, and he's had to come back in. And the second about it, it's like he's nude. I found it really uncomfortable. It's like, put your fucking boots on, man. Dirty. I mean, what the reality of this show is that obviously cannot be the last match because it is like sort of Avengers Endgame. All your heroes are dead, and you can't end like that. You have to go out on a ray of hope.
Give us a bit more Magnum.
Yeah.
Give us the bloke who looks like he's from Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman.
Anything.
Get him in.
Anything. What they, Ron Simmons. If you were ending it here, you'd need Ron Simmons to come in and then keep Vader away, and they'd have a push apart. And you're going, there's at least a ray of hope.
In this dark world.
You'd go, well, the last match is going to be the Steiners versus Williams and Gordy. And even though Williams and Gordy have gone through this competition, what we are going to see is the Steiners will win those NWA titles. And then we know that they're going to go for the WCW titles. And, there is hope. There is hope. And instead, they go, no. We could have ended it with the Vader thing, because we're going to end it badly and all your heroes are dead anyway. So you get the NWA Tag Team title finals, which are between Steve Williams and Terry Gordy against Dustin Rhodes and Barry Windham. Ole Anderson, the ref here. Strange sort of to see someone who was, sort of on the card a year before, who is now in the referee position. The Steiners come out right at the start to sort of shout at Williams and Gordy, which I think would be even more annoying if you were in the crowd, that that they were in the building, but you didn't see them perform.
Didn't do anything.
Well, really, really annoying.
Yeah.
This whole natural program falls apart almost immediately. Rick Steiner injures his chest muscle. It comes off the bone.
Ooh.
And so he's out of action.
Don't like that.
Then Terry Gordy just goes, I don't want to do this anymore, I'm going back to Japan. And so within 3 months, he's left.
Right.
They are defending the NWA Tag Team titles with people stepping in for Terry Gordy. It's just a living nightmare. Then the Steiners jump to the WWF. So the whole thing never really happens. This whole match does not go over at all with the crowd. They are silent.
And it's long. It's 20 minutes. Over 20 minutes.
It's so long. They've just seen Sting get destroyed by Big Van Vader.
Yeah.
And they're going, am I going to see another set of people I quite like fall to people that I hate, who are mean and brutal? There's a bit where Williams is doing a reverse chin lock, which is normally you go, that's boring. And in this, Dustin Rhodes is punching his arms to try and get out of it. And Williams isn't letting it go. And they're just writhing. And it's just, what is happening? Can't I see a moonsault? Can't we have fun? And Williams and Gordy win the NWA Tag Team titles, thereby pulling them back into being with the WCW titles, very confusingly. They would not have another pay-per-view. Bill Watts cancelled a load of pay-per-views until Halloween Havoc in October.
Right.
So we were left just going, that was really, really upsetting, wasn't it? Let's talk about what did eventually happen with the NWA Tag Team titles.
Yeah.
So you have Gordy and Williams unified the belts, and those belts now stay unified until 1993. It lasts a year. The NWA and WCW then sever their relationship, and the NWA say, right, we want our tag team championships back. In that time, they changed hands, the WCW NWA titles 5 times. So the then champions who held them both, Arn Anderson and Paul Roma, were stripped of the NWA championship. It was never mentioned on WCW TV. They had no interest in helping the NWA out anymore. The NWA did initially recognise the 5 title changes that had happened, that had been booked by WCW, but then they decided, no, we're going to remove those from the official history. So they decided to hold a tournament for the vacant NWA tag team titles.
That was a solution.
Yep.
Start a tournament, do a tournament.
Didn't do that for 2.5 years. They did that in 1995. They held a one-night tournament, and the tournament was won by the Rock and Roll Express. In the fall of 1995, they reached an agreement with IWA Japan, who were allowed then to have possession and control of the championship. They briefly allowed the WWF to have the NWA tag titles. They had them in 1998-9, at which point the collaboration ended. In 2002, they gave control of the tag team championships to TNA. Which they had in 2007 when TNA went, we're going to have our TNA titles, you don't have any say in it then. And the NWA were like, yes, that's true. And since then they've just been sort of bouncing around, a low level, really. And so, right. I mean, what a strange and stupid thing for everyone to waste time doing.
But that's why these companies kind of, fell out of favour, because they concentrated on the wrong thing.
Yeah,
they
really
worried
did.
About the wrong thing.
Really did. Nobody cared about the NWA tag titles there. The NWA, the actual organisation, with them sort of going, let's pull it out, let's not recognise that.
Right.
Mate, it's fucking wrestling. Don't worry about it. No one's going to go, there is no legitimacy to these because they were held by Arn Anderson and Paul Roma. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. But on the other good side, Pete, in 1992, I wrote to Bill Watts. And he wrote back to me.
Oh, wow, Mark, this is amazing. I popped my eye.
I wrote to him to say, I don't know if anyone at WCW is aware of this, but I really like WCW, and it's been on television for a couple of years, and it's continually moved around in the schedules. You can never find it, and it's just, it's just a pain. Can you please have a word with ITV and get it on at a regular time? Because I would like to see it. Thank you very much. And it took, like in those days, post was slow, and it took probably about 5 months. And one morning there was a envelope on the mat in front of the door, and it was white, and it had a gold stripe across one corner, and in beautiful sort of gold foil, those magical letters WCW. And I opened it. I'm not going to lie, Pete, there was part of me that sort of thought they might offer me a contract, and I might get to be. If I'd have seen this show, I would not have signed that contract, because it looks at best grueling.
Right in.
Yeah. But it was Bill Watson. He wrote a nice letter back saying, "Thank you so much. I'm so glad to hear you're a fan. How incredible to have people in Britain who enjoy it as much as you do. Yours sincerely, all the best, Bill Watts." Now, this has coloured my appreciation of Bill Watts greatly. Right,
okay, as in, like, he was fired for being racist, and he was very violent.
But he was also, Pete, one of my good friends. We had a correspondence, Pete, that lasted, give or take, a year. Give or take. And in that time, I feel like I got to know Bill, the real Bill. I remember saying to my mum, shall I write back and thank him for his letter? And my mum said, that's not how letters work. You don't have to keep on. You'll be stuck in a loop. And I was just like, I just want to talk more to my chum Bill Watts. I would say over the years, in a absolutely stupid way, there is a part of me that goes, I like all of Bill Watts' stuff because Bill Watts was once polite to me as a child.
That's all it takes. I like the music of Tom Chaplin from Keane, not George Galloway, he didn't do any singing.
George
Ezra, people like that. Miles Kane, I like all these people. Not generally because of their music. In fact, infrequently, I don't necessarily like them, but they're just really nice, solid blokes. I mean, let's make it very clear: this guy is not a really nice, solid bloke. He's a nightmare, but he did write you a nice letter.
Yeah, exactly. It does amaze me that a man who is in charge of a wrestling company owned by Turner Broadcasting Systems is being given essentially complaints by a 15-year-old in a foreign country, and he's still going, before we do all this stuff, let me just answer all these letters. I mean, maybe he only ever got one. Maybe there is nobody else who wrote to him. Maybe he was like, that is the... Yeah. I'm not mentioned in the book. I should point that out. That's, I think, an oversight on Bill's part.
That's right, Tony. Jake the Snake Roberts is no longer with WCW. He has some personal problems he has to attend to. We support him. We hope he's successful. But, if Jake the Snake was here, I'd look right in his eye and spit in his face because I think he's a scum.